Assalam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you all are in the best health and iman. It's your sister Aisha here at the table for Thursday's table talk. So let's just jump right into it. Today, I wanted to talk about, and I got my notes because I definitely don't want to forget. Today, I just want to talk about basically how can we as Muslim women, each one of us individually, how can we impact our ummah, right? Like, what can we do to benefit this ummah? And when I say that, now that may sound big. Like, what do you mean benefit the ummah? Like, the ummah is like, you know, 1.5 million people. Um, is it 1.5? I think I'm totally wrong on that. I think it's more than that. But whatever, the ummah is pretty big, right? So, no. So I'm not saying that you need to go out there and do something that is going to impact hundreds of people. Sometimes we need to start small. Sometimes we need to think small. And sometimes it's those small things that actually make a bigger difference, right? And so this is just food for thought, right? So I have my ideas here on ways that I want to impact the ummah. And obviously, the way that I may impact it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to impact it the same way, because everyone's different, right? Everyone has the things that they're good at. And so we need to work with those things that Allah has given us that we're good at and find a way of how we can use those things to benefit others. And I'm not saying anything new here. That's something that everyone knows, everyone says, right? So I just wanted to give some ideas. So when I converted to Islam, I was a teenager at the time, 15. And so I always thought about what it would mean for me as a Muslim woman once I get my own house, right? And I'm the queen of the house and I have my own house and I can do whatever I want in the sense of invite whoever I want to my house and things like that, right? Because at your parents' house, you can't just invite anybody that you want. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing Tasneem Collections. Well, this is my Sunnah style teal niqab, and this is my Tasneem Collections half jilbab with a matching skirt that I'm wearing, if you guys are wondering. So, getting back to it. So, now that I do have my own home, and, basically I'm in charge of it, right? So, I've been thinking of what can I do? How can I use my house to benefit others? Because the Muslim home, you want your home. When I think about the way the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, and his home and where his wives lived, it was a place where people came to learn. So Aisha, radiallahu anha, her home was a place where other Sahabas came to ask questions and learn from her. And the same with the Prophet, peace be upon him. People came to his home to get the knowledge from him, right? And so as Muslims, I think that we should have a home that is, one, open to people, obviously within safety measures, not just letting anyone into your home. We get that, we know that, right, as adults, but in a safe way, in a healthy way, having your home open to people, allowing your home to be a place where Allah is mentioned, the Quran is mentioned, where knowledge is spread. And that's something that I think we really should think about. So, for instance, here's one example of how to make your home a benefit to the community. So I decided, inshallah it works out, I decided to make a Holika for my husband's cousins. All of his cousins, they're like younger than me or my age. And I feel like, as youth, I know they go to college or they go to public school. And so maybe they don't have, as much, how do I word this? Maybe they don't have many opportunities to be exposed to Islam in like a group setting or from someone their own age or someone a little bit older than them, but in their generation, you get me? So obviously in their home they hear Islam from their parents, but that's coming from another generation, right? And so I decided that, at least once a month for an hour, I will invite them over, and we, every month I'll have a topic that we discuss. And maybe half an hour, it doesn't have to be anything long. Half an hour we discuss this topic, and then another half an hour we play a game. And I got this idea because I started going to a weekly halakha at the masjid for sisters. And I just started realizing that, like, when we come to this halakha, we do activities. We actually the sisters in charge actually ask us questions that make us reflect, right? And make us reflect about our week or our journey to Allah and like where we're at spiritually. And I feel like when we're home, most of the kids, everyone's on their phone. Everyone comes from school, comes from work, and it's not like you really sit down next to your sister or your brother and you're like, so, like, where you at in Quran now? What's, you know, how do you feel? How's your namaz going? How Bengali say, how's your salah going? We don't really sit down and ask those critical questions. It's like when we read a book at school, after we read a book, the teacher gives us a list of questions like identify this, identify that. But maybe outside of school, you just read the book just to read it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like we should, these kind of things that we learn academically, we learn them for a reason, and we can use them and apply them when we're not in school, when we're not in an institution. And so I was like, you know what? I go to this weekly halakha, right? And maybe my husband's cousins can't go because they have school during this time and whatever it is. So you know what? Let me bring that to them. And whatever I learn from the halakha, I can either apply it in my own or whatever it is. So that's just one idea. You can start a halakha from home, and especially if you're stay-at-home mom, let's just say. And I think that's great. Like, you miss your family, you want to see family, well, invite them, once a month to come over. And the best part about it is that the gathering where Allah is mentioned, where His Prophet ﷺ is mentioned, is a blessed gathering. And to have that in your home, like, it's one thing to get that in the masjid, and that's great, but to make your home like a place where the Muslims come and they gather and they discuss Islam, like, that is such a beneficial thing to bring inside of your home. So that's one idea. If you can do that, if you're a stay-at-home mom maybe, and you're looking for more connection and, wanting to see, you don't even have to do it with family. It can be with your group of friends or your mommy friends. You can do a halakha just for moms, and you can basically, here's another idea, you can even basically have a halakha just for your mom friends. Let's say you have 5 girlfriends that you all have kids, right? And so it's hard for you to go out and connect with people that don't have kids. Invite those moms to your house once a month, and every month make one sister in charge of keeping the kids occupied and keeping them, engaged, so that the other sisters could enjoy the halakha, let's just say. So that's one idea. Let me see. Another idea, Mashallah sister, I will tag her here, Covered and Fab, I think I'm saying it. She has a book club. I don't know if she still has it. I think she does. But when I saw her post on Instagram about her book club, I was like, you know what? That's such an amazing idea. Like, I should start a book club. I love reading. I have a handful of friends I know that I can put together. Maybe I should start a book club. Haven't been able to do that yet, but that's an idea. If that's something that you like to do, you want to read, you want to discuss it with other sisters, I think having your own book club is great. It's a great idea for you to do. So, number 2. Now, this is okay, moving forward from creating community or creating a way that you can help your community. What about creating a community? So a lot of sisters don't have a community. I know that there are Muslim sisters who are converts, and I've met them on Instagram, and they say, I've never had like an actual Muslim friend outside of being online. Like, I don't have a community or I don't even have one sister that I regularly meet on a weekly, monthly, daily, whatever basis, and to connect with, to talk about Islam with. And the only community I really have is here on Instagram. So I got this idea to do this. I know, because I started thinking about this a lot, because when I lived in New Jersey, like, I had my whole community there, my whole sisterhood. Let me see, how much time? Okay, I don't know, I can't see like how long I've been talking. So in New Jersey, I had my sisterhood and I had my community. But then when I got married, I moved back to New York, and I haven't been in New York in like 6-7 years. And so the only community I had was basically my husband's family, and that's amazing, and I'm glad that I have them. But you need to be an individual, other than your spouse and your spouse's family. You need to create your own friendships and go and meet with other people, right? So I was like, I need to get a sisterhood again, because I loved what I had in Jersey, and I'm not in Jersey anymore. Time has changed, right? And so I need to move on and do something else, right? And find another community here in New York. So when that sister told me that, I was like, wow, I at least know 5 sisters here in the area that I know who are converts. I know a sister who's a newly convert, meaning like been a convert for like 2 months. No, more than that, like 4 months. What if I invite all 5 of those sisters who converted to Islam, who have never met each other, but I personally know each one of them, invite them to my house, and we have a sisters converts day, again, once a month, once a week, whatever works for the group. Um, that's a niche that needs to be filled, right? And so I can fill that because I know personally sisters who have converted to Islam and who need sisterhood and need to bond with other sisters. And so I can be that middle person to say, hey, I know you have a need, I know you have a need, I know you have a need. Okay, here it is. Let's fill that need. So that's another idea for you guys. If you know, it doesn't even have to be converts. If you just know, sisters who need a sisterhood, but they don't know anyone else besides you, get them in a room together, and that's it. It'll be filled, and you guys will have your own new community that you filled amongst yourselves. Sorry, been talking so long, I need to take a sip of my tea. Just looking at my notes, guys, so I don't forget. So I have that. Invite a group of converts to your house. Another thing I want to say is, someone reaches out to you, don't forget about them. Check on them. I've had sisters, like, obviously not on purpose, but I mean, I've had sisters that I have opened up to, like, oh yeah, I just moved back here and I don't really know anyone, and they've taken my number, but they've never checked up on me. They've never reached out to me, and obviously I don't want to reach out to them because I kind of feel like, oh, am I bothering them or whatever it is. So if a sister reaches out to you, literally, like, she reached out to you for a reason. So definitely, I know we're all busy, but even if it's just to shoot a text message, just to say, hey, I haven't forgotten about you. I've been busy, but hope you're doing well, whatever. Don't forget about that person who reaches out to you. Inshallah, you can be the help that they need or support that they need. One more thing, let me say, I don't want to make this too long. If you know a handful of moms, bring them together. Take advantage of sisters in your community. So me and my friend, we always talk about how in the Muslim community, I feel like we have a lack of sisters who sorry, I'm like stuttering. We have a lack of sisters who are like sheikhs, basically. Like, we know that the brothers can access sheikhs very easily. They can go to the masjid and wait for the imam outside of the masjid and ask their questions and certain things like that. And I feel like us as sisters feel like we do not have that luxury of doing that. And we don't, like, where are the female scholars? Where are sisters? So we can feel comfortable to reach out and ask our questions, right? And so I remember years ago, I had a friend that said, there's a hafiza, a sister who memorized the whole Quran in our community. How come no one has ever taken advantage of her? And so I meant, what do you mean? Like, I asked, what do you mean by that? And she's just like, there was a sister in our community who is a hafiz, and no one has stolen her and asked her to spend some time to teach the Quran or like anything like that. Why not? And so she was saying that she felt like we need to take advantage of sisters that we know who have access to higher Islamic knowledge. And I think that was so true. And so I know a hafiz in my community, and I was thinking about that lately, and I'm like, you know what, I need to reach out to her because I need to learn tajweed. I really, want to memorize Quran, inshallah. If you guys will all make dua for me to memorize the Quran, inshallah. Now that I'm home with my son, I feel like it's perfect. I have time and I can do that, but I can't do it if I don't learn tajweed. And I'm the type that, like, I need face-to-face, kind of like someone to teach me face-to-face. And so I reached out to her. Inshallah, she can make time for me. But that's why I reached out to her, because I realized, hey, I need to take advantage of this girl in a good way, obviously, because the one who knows Quran and teaches it is the best, right? And so take advantage of sisters in your community that and it doesn't even have to be Islam related. It can be, a sister that's really good at crafting, and a bunch of sisters who want to learn how to craft. Plan something, get them together, and ask her if she has again, one day a month that she can come together and teach sisters how to do crafting, how to sew, how to do art, how to draw, whatever it is. And so I'll end on this. We have opportunities to create our own communities. Instead of sitting and maybe complaining that we don't have access to this class, or you can't make it to this class, or this class costs $50 or $100, start creating those classes amongst yourselves, and looking for a way that you can fill in these gaps that you see in your community. So I'll leave it at that. Until next time, I'll see you guys on Monday for Motherhood and Marriage Mondays, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.